Good evening and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We thank you for joining us. My name is Lydia Odije Ochi. Welcome. President Muhammadu Buhari says more funding is underway for the Nigeria police to enhance its operational capacity. The president spoke when he commissioned operational assets of the police, including armored vehicles and the incident database of the force in Abuja. President Buhari, who commended the reforms initiatives of the Inspector General of Police, said the equipment are part of the first phase of a robust plan to reposition the police to meet internal security challenges.
Security of lives and properties of Nigerians is a constitutional obligation. Hence, this remains a top priority in the agenda of our administration. The vehicles will be deployed for real-time electronic monitoring of Abuja Highway, Abuja-Kaduna Highway, and other major highways and vulnerable locations across the country.
Over 200 armored vehicles were commissioned to enhance the operations of the police. Meanwhile, officers of the Nigerian police force have been urged to maintain high standard of professionalism and cordial relationship with their host communities, as doing so will help minimize crime. Akwa Ibom State Police Commissioner Edgar Imoimi gave the charge while inaugurating the Ikot Udota Police Divisional Headquarters in Eket Local Government Area, Akwa Ibom State. Calvin Samuel reports.
Addressing officers and men of the command, the Akwa Ibom State Police Commissioner, CP Edgar Muhimi, maintained that it is no longer business as usual, as according to him, all police officers across the country are expected to at all times operate by its code of conduct, as anyone found wanting will be made to face the law. He further appealed for partnership with the traditional rulers and other stakeholders in the host communities, saying that no one should be left behind in the fight against crimes.
I don't want to hear that any policeman in this station is asking for monies for bail. When people come with complaints, they should receive them, take the complaints and take action on such complaints. That's the only way to win the trust and confidence of the people, and that's the only way you can get the support of the people for the station to take off properly. I want to see professionalism.
The chairman, Eket Local Government Area, Frank Achibong, and other stakeholders assure the police boss of their readiness to partner the police in ensuring the security of lives and property of the citizens.
The security and reduce the wave of crime in the Heritage Polytechnic in this community, Eket and Akwa Ibom State.
My motivations to establish the police division or invest in security of my people stem from the fact that government alone cannot provide adequate security for our citizens.
Earlier, a town hall meeting was held where the police commissioner unveiled his agenda to the people with the hope of getting feedbacks on the way forward. The new police divisional headquarters single-handedly built and donated to the Nigerian police force by Dr. Emmanuel Ekot, founder Heritage Polytechnic. Eket was thereafter commissioned and officers assigned to commence operations. In Eket Local Government Area of Akwa Ibom State, Calvin Samuel, NTA News.
And in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory High Court sitting in Maitama has granted the plea of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to keep the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mohammed Bello Adoke, in its custody. Justice Othman Musa gave the order in an ex parte motion brought before it by the EFCC Council. Dele Atombi reports that the order is to enable the Commission to conclude its investigation in the alleged involvement of Adoke in the Malabu oil deal. We apologize for the lack of audio in that report. We hope to bring it in the bulletin much later. In furtherance of the objectives for initiating Operation Rattlesnake, the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Doli has destroyed some more logistics facilities belonging to the Islamic State of West Africa Province ISWAP in the northern part of Borno State. In a statement, Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola, explained that this was recorded at Bakare, an island settlement within the Lake Chad Green Fringes, when Nigerian Air Force NAF jets attacked and destroyed some compounds where the ISWAP logistics stores were kept. The target locations were seen to erupt into flames upon impact of the aircraft munitions. Operation Rattlesnake, which was specifically initiated to neutralize some pre-designated insurgent camps and logistics facilities, is a precursor to further air and ground operations aimed at completely destroying all remnants of the terrorists in the northeast. More on security. Anambra State Police Command says it is working with other security agencies to ensure that the usual experience where commuters sleep on the Niger Bridge as a result of traffic gridlock does not occur this season. The State Commissioner of Police, John Abang, gave the assurance when he visited the Onitsha Bridge to assess the situation on the bridge. Uchenna Wekoyo has the report.
The Niger Bridge Onitsha, which is the major gateway to the southeast, often witnessed gridlock during this season. It is in a bid to ensure free flow of traffic that the police, the Road Safety Corps, and other security operatives have deployed large number of personnel in the area to avert any obstruction. The State Commissioner of Police, John Abang, interacted with some motorists to get their experiences. He noted that the police has strategized to ensure that the festive season is peaceful.
There was no roadblock, no policemen stopping anybody or hampering traffic. Rather, the road safety and other agencies are doing all within their powers to ensure free flow of traffic. So my visit here is basically to ensure that no problem is caused by security agencies at the entrance of Anambra State at the bridgehead on Onitsha. The Anambra State Police, in conjunction with other security agencies, will ensure that we have adequate security and free flow of traffic before, during, and after the Christmas.
The CP inspected some of the traffic flashpoints at the major roads in Onitsha and the adjoining cities. In Onitsha, Uchenna Wekoyo, NTA News.
Still on the Yuletide, the Federal Road Safety Corps has cautioned road users to ensure they obey all traffic regulations during the Yuletide for collective safety. Assistant Corps Marshal Umar Ibrahim said the Corps has displaced adequate personnel to all Nigerian roads during the festive season.
This period, we are looking at the life-threatening offenses. Those offenses, we see them as the ones that are causing major death on our road. Okay. So we handle them first, such as using phone while driving. Then on the major highway, what we are seeing is excessive speeding and excessive overloading. That is what we want to handle. For the overloading, both human and goods overloading, we have gone far with the pillars of the United Nations Decade of Action. All the pillars, primarily, we have achieved them. Okay. Even the reduction, 50% reduction in crashes, we have gone far with that one. Okay. And we are sure of getting at our target because we have achieved much of it.
We now go back to Dele Atumbi's story, the report which says the Federal Capital Territory High Court, sitting in Maitama, granted the plea of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to keep the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mohammed Bello Aduke, in its custody. The report.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in 2017 filed charges against the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Mohammed Bello Aduke, SAN, Shell Nigeria Exploration Production Company, and 9 others for their alleged involvement in the Malabu oil deal. The case involves the 2011 sale of the Nigerian Oil Production License OPL 245. The matter filed before the FCT High Court borders on alleged fraudulent allocation of OPL 245 and other forms of offenses including forgery of bank documents, bribery and corruption to the tune of $1.2 billion. The case further contravenes the country's law on the transfer of OPL 245 from Malabu Oil and Gas Limited to Shell Nigeria Exploration. Following the continued absence of Adoke in court, Justice Danladi Shensi had on April 17 this year issued a bench warrant for the arrest of former Attorney General of the Federation and other defendants in the matter. This led to the arrest of Mohamed Adoke in Dubai by the Interpol on November 11, 2019. Adoke was handed over to the EFCC on December 19 on his arrival from Dubai. The EFCC this Friday secured the order of the FCT High Court to detain the defendant in its custody for 14 days. Trial is expected to commence at the expiration of the 14 days detention order. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
It was a message of hope and prosperity for Nigerians in the new year as thousands gathered for the 2019 State House Christmas Carol. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports that some of the dignitaries commended the Buhari administration for steering the nation towards a greater future.
From every part of the Federal Capital Territory, enthusiasts have come to witness the annual Christmas Carol here at the Presidential Villa Banquet Hall. Is the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ, who in the Christendom is regarded as a gift to the world.
I believe as Nigerians, we have to celebrate the birth of the Lord, and we have to continue to hope and believe that he that says with him nothing is impossible. There's no problem facing this nation, the north to the west, east to the south, that is impossible. God will solve it. Our hope must be built on him because he will not fail us.
There's going to be tremendous progress in this country in 2020. We've returned the country to the budget cycle of January to December. With an element of certainty, definitely there will be strides and developments that will take place in this nation. We are getting focused and we're getting redirected in the pursuit of the activities of government and also providing leadership for the people of this country. President Buhari is set.
There's so much to celebrate. Is there a lot that we're looking forward to? Absolutely. Is there a lot that we'd have wanted by now? Of course. But is there a lot to celebrate? Absolutely.
So we should be thinking about from next year to be talking more positive about this country, be proud of this country.
For unto you is born this day in the city of David.
Lessons taken from the Bible reflect on the events which took place before, during, and after the birth of Jesus.
Do you think about your tomorrow, brother? I'm talking about a day when money will be useless. I'm talking about a day when you will not even know the number of houses you have. You will leave everything behind. The question is, where are you going to spend eternity?
The carol features groups from across the country. From the State House Banquet Hall, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Time to join Jennifer in Lagos for more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello, Lydia. Thank you for joining us in Lagos, and our first story is from the oil and gas sector. Now, upscaling oil production to 3 million barrels per day and reducing cost by 5% are some of the targets the oil and gas sector seek to achieve in 2020. As prelude to meeting this benchmark, key players in the industry are deliberating on the proposed upstream procedure guidelines for the sector. Michael Olaleye reports.
Nigeria's crude oil production currently stands at 2.2 million barrels per day, according to the Department of Petroleum Resources. Increasing this production mark above its present status requires harnessing the untapped 37.2 billion barrels of proven oil reserves. This forum, therefore, is more concerned about unlocking the huge potentials for economic growth, and as a pathway to achieving these mandates, Key players in the oil and gas industry will be automating and digitizing procedures from next year through the use of different guidelines like the Nigerian Oil and Gas Contract Advertising Portal. The Department of Petroleum Resources is also planning to introduce incentives for oil exploration so as to increase and sustain production and boost revenue.
We will continue with government mandates and aspirations. One is bringing more efficiency, transparency and accountability to the sector. The other one is to reduce costs by 5%. The third one is to ensure we grow production in this country to 3 million barrels per day.
Worried by the public perception of oil production accounting, stakeholders here will reconvene next year to draw up an open and transparent strategies for understanding the process. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NT News.
And to transportation, the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has led members of the State Executive Council on an inspection visit to the 5 kilometers long continuous beam bridge constructed from Igomu to Marina as part of the 4th phase of the Blue Line Rail project. Thomas Ogbetire reports.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu said the project is top priority for his administration as it is critical to the achievement of his administration prioritized pillar of traffic management, adding that the aim of the rail project is to reduce travel time through effective and efficient intermodal transport system, which is key to the building of a 21st century economy.
Apart from the Blue Line, we're working very, very hard to commence the Red Line, which the phase 1 of it will be from Oyinbo all the way to Agbado, and the phase 2 of it will be from Ebutemeta, Oyinbo, and it will cross up to Marina as well. But more importantly is that we have just recently advertised 4 of our remaining strategic rail projects, and I think we need to make this point and want to develop this model on a PPP arrangement.
Governor Sanwo-Olu also promised that his administration is committed to delivering this project next year and ensuring that its operation will commence in 2021. He noted that the construction of the Blue Rail track was being implemented in strict adherence to the State Strategic Transport Master Plan. In Lagos, Thomas Ogbetare, NTA News.
And to the Navy, the Western Naval Command, Nigerian Navy, has restated its commitment to carry out its constitutional duties of protecting the nation's territorial waters. Flag Officer Commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Oladele Daji, was speaking at the Nigerian Navy End-of-Year Divisions Parade and Ceremonial Sunset held at the NNS Naval Base, Apapa, Lagos. Imole Ayotukede has details.
The end-of-year divisions parade is geared towards taking stock, evaluating and re-strategizing. The Flag Officer Commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Oladele Daji, stated that the achievements recorded so far were the results of dedication of officers, ratings and staff of the command.
The fishing trawlers, for instance, will tell you now, before now, they couldn't stay at sea for days, but now they go for days, and that in itself is an indication of the fact that the maritime environment is becoming safer, and we've not recorded any successful incident of piracy this year.
The ceremonial sunset, a combination of 3 ceremonies, which signifies the end of all events for the year, as well as preserve one of the age-long traditions of the Nigerian Navy. The event is also aimed at fostering cordial relationship between officers of the command and sister agencies. In Lagos, Imole Ayotukede, NTA News.
Thank you, Tukede. Now that's a contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues after the break. Stay with us.
50 to 250 naira. That creates an incentive for arbitrage, whereby smuggling triumphed by taking petroleum product across the neighbor so that it can be sold at higher price. While the smugglers are making the money, Nigeria is paying for it. And that payment is distorting everything that we do in terms of planning, in terms of our ability to fund, and thereby taking money that is meant for development. the introduction of this Operation White. We have a reduction of close to 6 million liters on daily basis, which if you take an average of 150, translate to a saving of over ₦1 billion every day. That is the benefit of Operation White, and we have started seeing the great benefit.
Not so fast. Look, I'm tired. I want to check out of this country for greener pastures.
Just calm down for a moment. Please sit down.
Do you have a job where you're going to? No, but someone is arranging,
Listen, Alinko. Checking out of this country without proper planning means one thing. Unimaginable begin. You know, I've been in the diaspora, but legitimately doing great things at home and abroad. As I've been saying, without the proper footing abroad, the risk is not worth it. Listen, Alinko, it's better to be home than be trapped abroad, or even end up in prison.
This Saturday on the Premier League, Newcastle United go head-to-head with Crystal Palace. Newcastle aim to secure a win despite losing their principal goal creator as they clash against Crystal Palace this Saturday. Who will come out on top in this exciting encounter? Catch Newcastle United versus Crystal Palace live on NTA Network at 4 p.m. this Saturday. The Premier League, brought to you by Coca-Cola and Axis Bank.
Welcome back. Nationwide continues in Abuja. For security response and networking at all levels of government that will guarantee citizens protection, the federal government has procured the critical assets to improve the Nigerian police force. Francis Fom was at the inauguration of the assets and now reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari, at the inauguration, expressed delight with the technology and intelligence-driven models which are being combined for ensuring peace and stability in the country.
My vision is to bequeath to our nation a legacy of a reformed, modernized, fully equipped, highly motivated, and citizen-focused police force that is reorientated to the virtues of professionalism, respect for rule of law, due process, and best international practices in their operations.
For the Minister of Police Affairs and the Inspector General of Police, the commitments to reposition the police and drive the security agenda of the federal government is not negotiable.
We remain conscious of Mr. President's wish for an effective police institution. We are also aware of the fact that this informed the re-establishment of the Ministry of Police Affairs to give policy direction that will reposition the service to the next level.
The vehicles will be deployed for real-time electronic monitoring of Abuja Highway, Abuja Kaduna Highway, and other major highways and vulnerable locations across the country, including electronic surveillance of NNPC pipelines in the country.
217 police operational and combat vehicles, a National Police Crime and Incidents Database Center, and the National Command and Control Center at the force headquarters in Abuja were among the assets unveiled by the Nigeria Police Force. In Abuja, Francis Fom, NTA News.
And now to the National Assembly. The Senate has passed the 2020 statutory budget of the Federal Capital Territory of 278.3 billion naira, over 40 billion increase from the figure proposed by the executive. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Onkwo reports that the Senate thereafter adjourned to the 28th of January 2020.
It's unconventional to see members of the National Assembly entering the chamber on a Friday for plenary. Friday, 20th of December 2019 will go down in history as the second time the 9th Senate held plenary on a Friday. The first was during the screening of ministerial nominees. The report of the Senate Committee on FCT on the 2020 statutory budget of the Federal Capital Territory was the only item considered. Chairman of the committee, Abubakar Kyari, presented the report which recommended 278.3 billion naira for the FCT fiscal year against the 232.8 billion proposed, as he gave reasons for the increment.
Committees of FCT deliberated and resolved to double the proposed allocation to security in the Federal Capital Territory and its environs. The committees deployed funds to meet areas of critical needs like security, roads, water, health, education, and development of satellite towns within the territory.
160.1 billion was allocated to capital, while recurrent is 118.2 billion naira. Development of satellite towns received 36.5 billion. Universal basic education, 6.5 billion. Maintenance of public buildings, 3.4 billion. Federal Capital Territory Secondary Education Board, 3 billion.
I've looked at the spread, and I think that the spread, the increase on infrastructural development, especially the satellite towns, because we need to really decongest the city center.
And for the president to sign the budget 2020 before the end of December, and for the budget 2020 to start taking effect from 1st January, definitely the Nigerian economy will see significant changes.
Meanwhile, President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan received a delegation from the Ministry of Labor and Employment, who were on a condolence visit over the death of late Senator Benjamin Uwajumogu. Until his death, the late senator was the chairman Senate Committee on Labor. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has passed the budget estimates of the Nigeria Customs Service for year 2020. The amount put at 238.149 billion naira captures the service overhead cost and capital projects for the period. Also passed by the House is the FCT statutory budget for 2020. Meanwhile, the House passed through second reading a bill for an act to establish National Oil and Gas Museum Research Institute, Oloibiri, in Bayelsa State. The House has also adjourned for the Christmas and New Year break to resume on 28th of January 2020. The federal government says it will continue its fight on corruption to make life meaningful to Nigerians through the evolution of infrastructural facilities. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, reaffirmed this in Abuja while reviewing the activities of the ministry in 2019. Delia Atumbi has more.
Before the advent of the present administration in 2015, Nigeria suffered a lot of setbacks as a result of endemic corruption, resulting in capital flight, lack of quality education, infrastructural deficit, inefficient medical care, leading to medical tourism, as well as poverty among the people. On assumption of office in May 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari assured Nigerians of his administration's determination to fight corruption to a standstill in the public sector with the aim of turning Nigeria around for good. About 5 years down the line, the administration has strengthened the anti-graft institutions with enabling legal framework and environment to bring to book those that have preferred the commonwealth of the nation. The success of the anti-graft war has improved the ease of doing business in the country, thereby engendering the confidence of foreign investors in the country's economy.
Our fight against corruption is total, comprehensive, and dispassionate, devoid of any political or ethnic sentiments or inclination.
The federal government has also developed the National Anti-Corruption Strategy and a guideline for smooth implementation of the strategy with 5 pillars. Between 2015 and September 2019, the government has secured 1,636 convictions, including 3 former governors across party lines, with 22 former governors still facing trials.
We have created a central database for recovered stolen assets, which is under the supervision of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice.
Following the federal government's commitment to the fight against corruption, the National Association of Judiciary Correspondents presented an award of excellence to the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has taken a step further to meet its core mandate in tackling humanitarian challenges in the country. Part of its strategy is building a stronger synergy with the media in reaching out to the public. This came to light during a dinner organized for heads of media organizations. Ruth Aguele was there.
They are the movers and shakers in the industry, and as top media practitioners, they have all come in unison in honor of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. This familiarization dinner is to develop an effective communication strategy by engaging media partners for a consistent dissemination of information to the public.
We will do whatever it takes to see that with your support, so that this ministry takes off the ground, we drive it in a very robust manner, and we succeed.
In driving its success, the media practitioners asked questions to bridge the gap by contributing their quota in meeting the ministry's core mandate and its vision.
If we can curb the issue of security, there will be less disaster. We'll put in the best in terms of advice, in terms of correct reportage. We'll solemnly work and cooperate with that.
We're hoping that the media will support us to see that and they disseminate this information down to the grassroots so that people will be more aware of the interventions that the ministry is doing in the critical aspects of the responsibilities that is based on it.
As expectations are high from both ends, they say it is a collective responsibility that will go a long way in mitigating humanitarian challenges and meet the needs of the most vulnerable in the country. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
In line with the federal government's agricultural and economic development policy, farmers in the Northeast have been assured of adequate protection of their investment, especially in the agri-sub-sector. This was during a sensitization workshop for Northeast farmers by the Nigerian Agriculture Insurance Corporation in Gombe State. Nafisa Umar Garba completes the report.
The workshop is in fulfillment of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration agricultural policy toward reducing food importation and diversification of the nation's economy. The Nigerian Insurance Agricultural Corporation is targeting for sustainable farming activities in the country by developing agriculture as it complements and enhances risk management activities.
Our target is sustainability in agricultural activities. There's no point going into farming or processing, and in the middle of it, you cannot continue the business because of attendant risk.
The Northeast region will ensure that farmers are key into the cooperation to mitigate and manage the risks associated with disasters.
My farmers in Gombe, they are already keyed into NAEC because they have been benefiting from different type of loans from all the commercial and the development banks.
You know quite well that our farmers' method of farming in Nigeria has been subsistent in nature, and most of them are afraid to take risks. But with the coming of NAEC to intervene, many people will want to come in because of the assurance.
Participants drawn from across the Northeast region appreciated the opportunity given to them to partake.
We are very, very confident with what NAEC stands for. And in our state recently, we acquired about 100 tractors, which are fully insured with NAEC.
Anything will happen to your farm, at least you have NAEC. They will be there for your insurance.
The workshop is expected to last for 2 days. In Gombe, Nafisa Umar Garba, NTA News.
And from Kaduna, Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAMB says no candidate will be allowed to register for its examinations beginning from next year without the National Identification Number. JAMB Registrar Professor Ishak Oloyede disclosed this at a meeting with computer-based test centers operators in Zaria. Sagir Muhammad Awal reports.
The examination body has evolved stringent measures year after year to deal with the roots of examination malpractice, The latest strategy, according to the JAMB registrar, will minimize level of cheat in the examination.
JAMB, as a responsible government agency, is complying with government directive that you cannot access our service without a lien. Those of you who are the owners of the CBT centers, you must be registered, you must have NIN number.
The registrar also emphasized that any candidate who fails to undergo verification will not be allowed into the examination hall. He expressed disappointment with some of the operators of CBT centers who tamper with CCTV cameras at the examination halls. The stakeholders commended the various measures taken by the examination body, noting that this will guarantee the integrity of the examination. The 2020 UTME registration is expected to commence on the 13th of January. In Zaria, I'm Sagir Muhammad Awal, NTA News.
Proper documentation of history and culture of different ethnic nationalities in Nigeria will enhance inter-ethnic relations to fast-track unity and national development. This was the dominant theme at the public presentation of the book, A Short History of ATIAP in Abuja. Kelvin Abonaye has details.
The history and culture of a people are part of their heritage. Documenting such history is one way of keeping identity alive and for posterity. So, when the book, A Short History of ATIAP, was presented to the public in Abuja, the people who are part of the about 65 ethnic nationalities in Southern Kaduna praised the efforts of the author, late Bala Achi, a historian.
So much has been written, distorted history, outright lies we have seen in publications flying around about us.
Bringing these ethnic nationalities together of 4.2 million people is actually one of the key objectives of SOCAPO, to bring them together in harmony, to exchange cultural interchange and bring about peace, which is a necessary ingredient for development.
The 61-page book, divided into 11 chapters, captures the origin and transformation of ATIAP land from colonial era through different stages of development.
By the fact that this book has been published finally, generations to come will be able to know the struggles, the trouble the ATIAP people went through with regards to their experiences with colonial masters, with the feudal systems and all of that.
There were commitments from different interest groups to help make the book available in school libraries and to ATIAP people in the diaspora. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
This is Nationwide. Let's now join Caleb in Jos for more on Nationwide. Hello, Caleb.
Hello, Lydia, and welcome to Jos. In keeping with its role of monitoring government programs and implementation, the House of Representatives Committee on Army has visited the 3 Division of the Nigerian Army, Maxwell Kobe Cantonment, on oversight function. This exercise is to ascertain the level of transparency and accountability.
Receiving the team was the General Officer Commanding 3 Div, Major General Nuhu Azu, with very senior officers of cantonment. In his remarks, the GOT expressed appreciation towards the sacrifice of in availing itself to the challenges various army formations are facing.
The sacrifices that you are making further gives us the zeal to ensure that every territory of this country will be secured.
Afterwards, the committee chairman Abdulrazak Saad Namdas and other members were led on a tour to the division 54 million cubic liter dam being built to serve 15,000 soldiers, their families, and 2 surrounding communities. They also visited renovated 10 blocked flats for corporals and below, as well as the medical services and hospital.
As a committee, we feel that they should also do more. We will also do our part to ensure that more funds are appropriated, and since they have taken good steps in ensuring that renovation takes place, construction takes place, we are of the opinion that they
Thanks for staying. Travelers in Nigeria are expected to get a clearance certificate from the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, before traveling to anywhere in the world in order to put a check on human trafficking. Elizabeth Omori reports that the Director General of the agency, Julie Okadonli, discussed this while reeling out the scorecard for the year 2019.
The issue of trafficking in persons is one that has given Nigeria a bad name in time past. The new wind of change many attribute to the intensified efforts of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, living up to its mandate in curbing the menace. The agency in 2019 convicted 23 persons, made more than 500 arrests as it rescued 876 victims. Under the year in review, the agency recorded 749 reported cases, and 160 of them achieved through efforts that include dialogue with enforcement agencies in Nigeria, Cotonou, Togo, Benin Republic, and Mali on illegal migration.
No fewer than 400 teachers of colleges of education have been trained by personnel of this agency and the NCCE on those issues and methodology to adopt in teaching them. It is important to note that these will be taught as a general studies course in colleges of education from January 2020.
There are much more with the agency's commitment to training of task forces in states, as well as the policy for Nigerians to obtain a certificate from the agency before embarking on any journey.
We also need to officially notify the NIS. They are the ones at the airport, so they need to know that without the clearance certificate from NACTI, they are not allowed to travel, even if they have a visa and a passport.
The agency, however, advocates tighter security at the borders and other ECOWAS routes to reduce illegal migration. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
As part of its social corporate responsibilities, the Nigerian Television Authority, in collaboration with other media organizations, is leading the campaign for the welfare and security of people living with albinism. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that the effort is in line with the 2020 Ivory and Aid Ball and Fundraising Committee for Albino Patients.
Findings show that people living with albinism are exposed to various degrees of health challenge, with cancer of the skin and eye on the front burner. This development has been engaging stakeholders across different fields of life to design frameworks of mitigating the problem. The latest initiative is driven by the 2020 Ivory Aid Ball, aimed at raising funds to address common health challenge with the media as critical stakeholders.
We in the NTA and the FRCN see this project as part of our social corporate responsibility, and we're also hoping that well-meaning organizations and individuals out there will key into this partnership to ensure that we give our brothers and sisters who need this assistance particularly, especially those of them who are very vulnerable.
It is so timely because as we speak, we're having challenges meeting the bills of the National Hospital. And so this is a welcome development.
As a demonstration of commitment to the actualization of the program, a 42-member committee was inaugurated to accomplish the task ahead. Managing Director NTA Enterprises, who represented the Director General of NTA, Mr. Maxwell Logo, charged them to remain steadfast in pulling resources in meeting the health and social problems of people living with albinism. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Zamfara State Government Executive Council has approved the revocation of some 3 public utility contracts worth more than 82 billion naira for failure of the contractors to complete the projects within the stipulated time. This is a major outcome of the maiden meeting of the council presided over by Governor Bello Muhammad. Salamatu Umar reports.
The maiden meeting of the recently constituted Zamfara State Executive Council largely deliberated on issues related to some ongoing and abandoned projects across the state.
It is a call service and not for self-seeking. Their priority should therefore be our people and nothing else.
Meanwhile, the Zamfara State Executive Council has revoked some public utility contracts worth 82 billion naira awarded by the immediate past administration in the state. The State Commissioner of Information, Suleiman Tunau, and his Works and Transport counterparts, Ibrahim Issa Mayana, made this known while briefing newsmen on the outcome of the council meeting. The council has directed the affected contractors to refund substantial amount of the contract sum to the state government coffers. From Gusau, Salamat Umar Abdullahi, NTA News.
We now go to sports. NTA beats NAN 4-1 to win the FCT Swan Week 5 aside football tournament for the third successive time in Abuja. Friday, let's get more on Sports Update.
Team Nigerian Television Authority (NTA) continues their domination of FCT Sports Writers Association of Nigeria 5-a-side football tournament as they defeated the news agency of Nigeria NAN 4-1 in the final at the Area 3 pitch Abuja on Friday to win their third consecutive title. Haruna Umar bagged a hat-trick while Olaleko Kelajelu made it 4 for Team NTA as NAN got their only goal of the game through Tijani at Tojoko.
Appreciation goes to the management of the NTA and the general manager NTA Sport for believing in me and my crew for making it again for another successful year.
We gave a gallant fight, and I'm sure some other time we'll do better.
Voice of Nigeria defeated Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria 5-2 to win the third place match.